Welcome back to our next episode. Questions of
Wait. Actually, you don't have to stop it. I'm just gonna get another water.
Wait, I have water. Oh, soda water. He's parched because this is our third Q&A video. So we just did the Q&A video of how we met, and we did the Q&A video of just fun facts about us. So this is now the Q&A video of our RV life, things that we do, things that you could do, things you guys want to know. So let's get it to it. Oh, also, if you have any questions of your own, please feel free to comment them, okay? So I can have them all in one place, and I can see these questions. Okay.
Does anybody else do this? You turn your tab to the side to know it's yours.
How do you maintain enough hot water for showers? Do you use propane or electric? Somebody said on our forest, because this is a forest river, that they usually set it up where you can switch between propane and electric, and there's a switch that should be in there. I was like, what? Because I thought this one was just
fairly
propane.
certain. I've got to look. I've not looked into it. I haven't had time, but
Yeah, I think we do.
I'm pretty sure we're on electric. But we also have an instant a hot water heater on demand. Hot water on demand.
Yeah.
So it's like pretty much you can run it and it'll be hot as long. I've taken like 35-minute showers in there before.
All of ours have been electric, though. This is our first one where you can run it off of both. At least that's what we know
but,
of.
Well, it does, with a regular hot water heater, it depends on how big you get. I think you can only get, like the biggest one you can get in an RV right now is like a 12-gallon.
Yeah, and we had that in our last RV.
And, but you can get a good 15, 20-minute hot shower out of it.
Yeah, I'd be taking the longest hot showers and I'll be fine.
But in this one, we have an instant hot water heater. So it's like you could take an hour and a half hot shower if you wanted to. I mean, I've gotten in there and let it run over my back before for 45 minutes.
Yeah, and I put mine all the way hot and it's good.
Same.
Let's see. Do you think you'll ever take your rig on the road? No. And
well, we'll not this rig and not a rig this size. Because it is not...
just a lot.
Yeah, it's not fun. It takes away from a lot of the fun. Unless you're a full-time traveler and, like, you're really good at it, you know what you're doing. It takes... For us, it takes a lot of the fun.
We're more pro with stationary stuff. And so, if we were going to get something to travel in, we would get a, probably, like... a Class C or a van, something smaller, something you can like pull into the city, something we would be driving.
Yeah.
We find those more fun when it comes to traveling and stuff like that.
We did this because we did it to save a cost on living when we first moved here, and we fell in love with the lifestyle and the people around it. And so it's like getting good at stationary is just what we did. It's not, it's not like a...
Yeah, and then things...
wasn't really planned.
Yeah, and then things at first, like, when I first got into RV life, and people were like, oh, dumping the black tank, that's so nasty, like, you're messing with poop.
And it's like, time, honestly.
It's like, you really aren't. You're literally just pulling some levers, alright, it's empty, good to go. Like, it's really not messy at all.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of, like, I don't know, misinformation on RV life. Who would you like to do a collaboration with? If we could pick anything or anyone, he would do John Mayer.
Yeah.
Okay, but RV life, if I could do something outside of RV life, I would like to do a collaboration with Ashley Graham. I think that would be fun.
That'd be cool.
I already got her attention because she commented on my TikTok and said I slayed in a video. I was like, you better shut up. You better shut up, Ashley Graham. I don't know if this is your PR team, but I love you.
That's probably her.
I love you. She is on her TikTok. She should be on her TikTok. But anyways,
I think that would be a cool collab. Like, you guys could get matching outfits and like...
people just say we look alike, and so I just...
Honestly, that last video you did, you guys really do. Like, I've never really paid much attention to it, because I just haven't, but like, when you uploaded it side by side, I was like, holy crap, they really do look alike.
I only see some similarities. I don't really think we look alike, but I get it so much, so it's definitely a confidence booster.
You guys make a lot of the same, like...
looks.
Facial, yeah.
We're very dramatic with our faces.
Yeah.
What internet do you use? So, whenever we don't have Wi-Fi... we don't have Wi-Fi, Our landlord provides the Wi-Fi, but if we don't have Wi-Fi, if we ever stayed anywhere and a Wi-Fi did go out, we would use our HDMI cord and just run everything off of our phone.
Yeah.
And so we can do a separate video on that. I have done it before.
All it is just an HDMI connector you could buy at Walmart or Best Buy or Amazon. But the ones on Amazon, I will say be careful because it only lets you use...
Get it from Walmart.
The internet. Get it from... Yeah, you need to get the actual Apple one because...
too many people that got it from Amazon said it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so that's what we use. So we stream everything from our unlimited data off of our phones. Mm-hmm. People are like, "Oh, well, that slows your internet down." I've never noticed it just to slow my internet down. So
AT&T service is kind of garbage anyway. So
yeah, we've had all different types of services whenever we've done this. So yeah, it's been fine. How do you keep your camper cool? We have AC units and
3.
Yeah, this RV has 3 AC units, but all of our RVs besides our second RV, our tiny 18-footer that had 1 AC, but it only needed 1 AC. It stayed cool. We only had we had our furnace heater, then we had our fireplace in there, and it stayed hot whenever we needed to. Like, we were fine.
It would get warm and it would get cold. Like, it was
real good. Like, the thermostat was real good. But yeah, our AC units. And so we stay plugged in. And so when people are like, "Oh, how can you live in an RV and you have kids or dogs? You know, that's torture. Like, how do you leave your animals?" It's like, they are basking in the AC.
They are fine.
Yeah, they are enjoying their life.
And we've usually got a little camera that we set up. It's our dog camera to keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
Make sure they're okay. And if they start barking, we can talk to them. And
yeah. And we also have neighbors too. So like if our camera,
and a dog sitter.
if our camera ever goes out, I'm like, was that the Wi-Fi or was that the power? So I usually can ask like our neighbor, like, "Hey, is everything? Oh, okay, it's just the Wi-Fi that went out." Oh, okay. So that's how we keep an eye on that, just to make sure.
But also, they like RVs in general. Even the biggest RV is like they if you shut your air off, it'll warm up quick. Mm-hmm. It'll get hot quick. But as soon as you kick it on, it'll cool down in a matter of minutes. Like, it's so fast.
Yeah.
And it also warming it up.
There's things that you can do as well. Like, you keep the shades down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Don't let that sun come in here and bake it. You know?
Well, like, look at where the sun's at during the day. Like, in our case, it comes up over there and goes down behind here. So, like, in the morning, I leave this window closed and open this window because you can let natural sunlight in. But in the evening, in the evening a lot of times.
You just
close,
rotate
like
with
sunset. Yeah, you close these windows and open those.
Sometimes you don't need to, though. That's only like when it's super hot, but usually you don't need to. But yeah, we have heating and AC because we are fully hooked up to power.
If I want to keep this together, we're gonna get flagged for nudity.
What led you to decide on the RV? Okay, I'm taking this question in 2 ways. We didn't want to get a house or an apartment because cost of living is way high in Nashville, and we didn't want to like buy a house. Like the first time we got to Nashville, Devin's already been in Nashville. That was my first time. This is when we moved, so it was a whole leap of faith of like just going. But
I mean, I sent you a van.
Yes, what led us to an RV? What type of RV? If that's what you mean by that, because the question is, what led you to decide on the RV? We decided on a fifth wheel because it's the biggest and the baddest.
Well, and I used to tell people, I sent her a video of a van lifer, and she said, "No way, absolutely, I'm not moving into a van."
I totally do that.
Now, and you always go, "No offense to van lifers," and it's like, yeah, no offense to van lifers, but we had the 18-footer, we did it, so I feel like we can talk about it.
But when I first was introduced to RV life, I was very like, no.
Yeah. And that's normal.
And then he showed me a page, Mandy and Kevin, who live in their RV full time, their fifth wheel, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's like a tiny home. You have everything a tiny home has. Like, I want to do this. I had no idea that it's like a tiny home.
Remodel the inside. And,
I was like, heck yeah. But then he was like, do you want to do van life? And I was like, no, not with our 3 dogs. Plus, I'm allergic to dogs. So that's just not good. And I was like, I want to have as much space as possible. So that's why we got into fifth wheel living. Mm-hmm. Like I did.
We got a fifth wheel, and then we went down to a real small that little tiny one, a little tiny toy hauler.
Yeah, but you know what? I didn't change my username because I knew we were gonna stay.
Well, and it was cool, but what we realized is if we ever do something like that again, we're gonna just buy another
Camper or driving, yeah, it's the Class C.
To do what we want to do with it and just have a bigger fifth wheel to call home. Because it's what
you know how rich people, they have their home, then they have their vacation home. So we would have our home fifth wheel, and then we would have our vacation RV.
And it's so funny. On a different note, I meet a lot of people on the road that ask what we do, and I always get into a conversation about tiny living. And everybody always thinks it's so cool. I show them a picture of our house, and they're like, "That's our bass player for the band." He said, "That's bigger than our first apartment." Like, it was like my wife and I. That's bigger than the first apartment that we had. And it's like,
yeah, these things can get really big.
And it's like there's no reason not to do it. It's like they're so big and set up so much like home now, you know?
Yeah. But also why we got into RV life in general was because Devin and I just felt led one day literally just to move to Nashville. And if you guys want a video on that whole thing, or should I just explain it now?
You can explain it now, yeah.
Okay, so you might have heard me say this a billion times, but Devin was on his way home, and I was out.
All right.
He was on his way home from a trip. I was at home watching Netflix. We lived in Delaware. We never talked about moving to Nashville. Never. It was never on our radar. Our whole family's in.
Never on our radar.
It was never on our radar. And our whole family lived in Delaware, born and raised on the playground where we spent most of our days. And we were just not going to leave. Did you just fart?
Oh, I didn't think you heard it. Sorry.
Well, I was too busy trying to quote Bel Air.
So it's like, it's fine. It'll work itself out.
Anyways, so all of a sudden I'm scrolling and I'm thinking to myself, like, all of a sudden it just hits me. We need to move to Nashville. And I was like, what? I was like, that's crazy. And I was just like, you see these intuitions that come up? Like, watch the video, the Q&A of how we met, and you're going to know what I'm talking about with this intuition thing. And I'm like, what? We got to move to Nashville? Like, I don't understand. Nah. And I'm just like scrolling. Devin calls me in that moment. Literally. And he's like, listen, I was listening to this podcast and it's talking about this, it's talking about that. What do you think about us moving to Nashville? I was like, I just had the same thought.
Well, I was on my way home from somewhere, and I remember like thinking, like, I want to listen, I get in these moods where I'm like, I want to listen to some like spiritual podcast or something, something like, I want to pray, I want to figure out what's going on. It's like, and so I found this, it was like a Bible study podcast, I think. And they did it in episodes, but it broke it down by topic. And the very first topic, I didn't even pay attention to what it was. I just hit play. It was about couples and individuals that had completely changed their way of life and moved either to a new city or into a completely new career that they didn't plan on, or all these stories about about these people just jumping out on leaps of faith. And it was like, well, that's weird. I didn't plan that. And like in the back of my head before I listened, like, you'll know what I'm talking about, but like in the back of your head, you have this idea. It's just like, man, it'd be cool to live in Nashville.
Yeah.
And it's like, it just starts as a little seed. And then I played these podcasts, and it's like, oh, we should move to Nashville.
So he called me in that moment, and it was like, we both thought the same thing at the same time. So I was like, I was thinking the same thing. So I remember saying, I guess we're moving to Nashville. And so
literally how we decided.
Literally, just in that minute. And so we're like, sweet, I don't know what we're going to do, but we're going to move. And so we told our family the next day, and they were like,
that's impulsive.
Yeah, like, that's not going to happen. Like, all your jobs are here. Like, your family's here.
To our mistake, we told them we're moving to Nashville. We had nothing else planned.
No, we didn't have jobs.
We just knew we were moving to Nashville.
We didn't know where we were going to live. And so they were like, you guys are crazy. We're like, no, we feel really led to move. And so we definitely think this is God pushing us there. We're going to move. It just feels like we're meant to be there.
Yeah.
We started looking at houses, in apartments, and we're like, maybe we read that wrong, because that is just like so expensive. And I was like,
neither of us had jobs here yet.
Yeah, and I was like, it's expensive to live there, and the things that you can't afford that are still expensive are just not in great areas.
And I hate telling this part, but it's a fact of how it was. Is I had just lost a gig, my main gig, like a pretty big part of my life, and was in that current moment unemployed. And so we're moving to Nashville.
Well, you weren't unemployed. You
I was working at the church, but I'm saying we had to leave that.
Yeah.
And I didn't have, it was all worked out by the time we got here. It was like,
yeah, you just
landed a good gig
right before you got here, and I got my job here a week before we moved. So that's how much we were going on faith of like, we're supposed to be here.
Yeah.
And so, but when we found all the houses and apartments were out of our price range, and we're like, okay, maybe we're not going. That's when Devin, I was at work one night, and he was like, hey, what do you think about living in a van? And I was like, hey, no. We have it great here.
No.
We have it great here in Delaware, and I don't want to leave
this up.
to go live in Nashville in a van somewhere. I was like, why would we do that? And he was like, okay. And then he found Manny and Kevin from 180 square feet, and there he was like, hey, what do you think about moving into a fifth wheel? And again,
I stayed up all night and watched all their videos.
I was like, no. And then he was like, let me show you their page. And after I saw it, I was like, that's a tiny home.
I think I waited till you got home the next morning.
Yeah, and he showed me like YouTube videos. And we binge watched all their videos. We ended up getting to meet them when they visited Nashville. Mandy even came to one of Devin's concerts.
Do you remember in the living room of our apartment, we put it up on the screen. We watched their YouTube videos,
and we were doing homework
like,
on it.
Taking notes.
Yeah, and that's why we need to do more YouTube videos for people that were like us. And that's why we started. That's why I started my whole page with like Instagram, because I was like, oh, hopefully I can inspire someone to get into an RV one day. I was like, I don't know if anything will come about it. I was like, hopefully I get like 1,000 followers and I'll be happy. I was like, and I'm like, oh.
And I'll be done.
And so that was like the whole plan or whatever. But I wish I documented more, because I really didn't think anything would come about this. I didn't really think anybody would want content and stuff. So happy you guys are here, and I love you guys. But that is how we literally got into fifth wheel living. And so thank you, Manny and Kev. I always reference them whenever I talk about them, and they're just complete sweethearts.
That doesn't scroll.
Yeah, that does not scroll. Where do you guys actually park your fifth wheel? I'm new to your channel. So
right here, she's gonna list the address.
I know some people say, some people actually ask for our address, and then some people are just like genuinely want to know. We live in Nashville, Tennessee. That's as far as I go. Some people are just very like, but we're on private property. We have lived
campground
in a campground before, and those are places that you can live. And
prefer this.
Yeah, and still get your no, there's still like some nice campgrounds. Like we've met up with friends that live at campgrounds and stuff.
I think that
a lot of accommodations.
You form a lot more relationships at campgrounds. I mean, obviously, but
yeah, sometimes they're a little bit tight, but depending on the campground, there's some that are like nicely spaced. Like the one that we found, it was supposed to be like $300 a month. Remember, it was in like Clarksville or something. Mm-hmm. But it was too far from Nashville.
Our original.
It was a resort,
we were gonna go to.
And there was only like 8 spots, and it was like by the water.
Yeah.
But it was too far, so we didn't go there. Anyways, so you can stay in some really nice places. Oh yeah, it doesn't scroll. Sorry. Where do you think is the best place to move and live in an RV? Love you, by the way. Aw, thank you.
Anywhere.
Love you.
Oh, yeah, love you. Sorry. I'd say anywhere. I mean, you can live in an RV anywhere.
Yeah, go to all the different states, and if you want, you can boondock, you can stay at a campground. I think it depends on your preference on where you want to stay. You can stay on your own private property. Yeah. I know there's some people say that it's illegal in some states to stay on like private property. I'm not sure about that. I've not encountered that, so I don't know all about that. So just make sure.
Some you'll have like towns in certain states that they don't like. Here, Franklin, Tennessee, you can't live in your RV in Franklin, Tennessee, and it's like one of the many towns.
Probably because they're so bougie there.
Yeah,
that is the rich section.
But that's what I'm saying.
They don't want to see nobody in RV.
Every state is going to have its own like.
That's just the city, Franklin.
Anyway.
All right, just curious how you sorted out free accommodations as most charge.
Not free.
Yeah, it's not free. I do have to, I help our landlord with his social media for his business. And so it's a trade. And so you just got to make sure you're doing that correctly. We also have a tax guy, so I make sure I do everything correctly through him. And so it is a trade. It's an easy trade for me, and it's an easy trade for my landlord because, well, one, he doesn't have to pay somebody, and then two, it's something that I do for myself already, and it's something I enjoy. And so I think if you find something that you do to camp host, that's what it's called, and it's fun, then you're not really working. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like social media is a job for me, but I don't feel like I'm really working because it's fun. So, but there are pages that do it, that teach on that, and I should list them. I think I'll link her below, as she talks about camp hosting. I can't even think of the Instagram name. We got to meet them in real life. Tammy.
Greg and Tammy.
Greg and Tammy. We got to meet them in real life. I can't think of her Instagram handle, so I'll put it in the bio.
No show.
Yep. Yeah. And they're amazing people, and they camp host all the time and live at different campgrounds for free all the time.
They're awesome.
And so there's things that you can do, and they'll teach you what to ask, what to say, how to get it. Like, they know way more than I do.
Yeah, when they started talking about it, it was like, whoa.
Yeah.
They know a lot about this.
Yeah. And then they also travel full time. Yeah. So they're awesome. I'll link them below. But they're definitely people to get good advice from. How do you find the free place to stay? Family, friends, or you also mentioned free electricity as well. I don't recommend staying out at a place without free electricity, but that's just me. But people that have, you pay usually around like $100 to $200 a month extra. But that is where they can get you. But again, it's RV, so everything does cost less, but it depends on you. Everywhere that we've stayed, electricity has always been free, which is super nice because I'd be cranking that AC and I'd be cranking that heat. Mm-hmm. But you can ask that. When you're calling like a campground and stuff, you just ask like, hey, how much is it, the monthly fee? Don't ask how much is the day rate, because the day rate, when you add it up, is going to be different than the actual monthly fee. And so it'll seem like it's way more expensive than it is, because when you stay longer, the price goes down. Okay, I'm going to answer this one by myself. Why are your YouTube videos so short? So I've been getting into YouTube shorts, so that's why they're only a minute long. So yeah, that's why. But I'm working on doing more videos. So please, in the comments, let me know what you want to see. Ask your questions. Because even though I don't answer a lot of questions, it's because I have so many. I have 5 platforms just for myself. I have 2 platforms that I manage for my 2 clients. And then I have my part-time job, which is 2 days a week. That's how we get our benefits. I work in the medical field. And so I am very busy. And then plus, being a wife, giving time to my dogs, and then having time for myself. And so, when it comes to comments and stuff like that, yes, I am rarely looking, but I still do look, because I do want to keep giving like people what they want with like answering questions and stuff. So please just keep commenting. Like, I want to know this, I want to know that, as long as it's not really like personal. Or look at my other videos, because I might have already gone through it. I go over like the same questions like all the time. Let's see. The breakdown of cost, investment, how to start living in an RV full-time from renting.
That's a whole separate video.
Well, honestly, that also depends on you. Your cost is going to be way different than mine. Are you paying cash? What's your credit like? Where do you live? What are you staying at a campground? Or are you staying on private property? That all comes down to you. How much are you going to
renovate? What's wrong with the camper you're getting?
What kind of camper are you getting? Are you getting a brand new, never used RV? Or are you getting one that's like 10 years old and only needs like some things fixed?
I will say
that could be $100,000 difference.
Biggest pieces of advice, and if you don't listen to anything else that we say,
I know what you're about to say. You ready to say it?
This is what you hear, because we didn't listen to this and we got screwed.
We got a little cocky with thinking we knew a lot about RVs.
Do not buy a brand new RV. Don't do it. It's the worst possible thing you can do. Well,
one, they're making a lot of RVs super quickly, and so a lot of them are having problems, okay? Second, because they are an RV, they are going to have problems. I'm not going to lie.
Look for a used RV that like maybe a family had, or something where it's had some time to accumulate the problems and get the problems sorted out.
Yes,
so you know what you're getting into.
Yes, so you know what is
because
going on.
You get into a brand new RV, there's not been 1 mile put on it, and you have no idea what's going to shake loose.
What was put on correctly?
Our ductwork for our heating wasn't even attached.
Yeah, a lot of things. The most problems that we ever had with the camper was our brand new, never used. We bought it before it was built RV.
I wonder why the cabinets heated up so much.
Yeah.
And then I called the guy and was like, hey, this seems like a fire hazard.
Also, when we got our brand new RV, the one thing, this is where they get you. They're like, get this brand new RV because you'll get the warranty. So if anything ever happens, you can just bring it to the shop. No.
Nope.
The guy was literally telling us, we're going to have to write up your complaint a certain way because this is your fault because you live in the RV.
Yeah. It's your
fault.
fault.
I was like, what? And he was like, yeah. So they're not going to cover a hotel for you to stay in. And they can't know that you're living in an RV, so you're going to have to lie. And I'm like, I'm uncomfortable. And I'm like, they knew when we were buying the RV that we were going to live in it full time. They said we can use a warranty. He was like, yeah, they lied. And I'm like, excuse me. And he was like, so we can write this a certain way.
I'm sorry if you're a salesman, but salesmen are the worst.
Yeah, they want to make a sale.
Yeah.
And so, yeah. But luckily, because that RV was the one that got totaled too. But luckily, our insurance was great. They knew we lived in it full time. We had insurance that covered full timers that are stationary. So, yeah. But that was very unfortunate. It was a series of unfortunate events with that RV, and that was our brand new RV.
Yeah.
So again, it falls down to, it depends on the buyer.
Yeah.
Let's see. Do y'all live in a campground or do you rent a lot? Curious on that works
that, right?
if you rent a lot. Oh, a lot. Okay, that's what's throwing me a lot. We yes, technically we rent a lot, but I work host, I camp host, basically, and so that's how we get to. That's our rent.
How do you stop the RV from rocking? You don't.
You don't. The wind,
well,
grown up stuff.
Yeah, I was about to say, that doesn't seem like they're talking about the wind.
Yeah, they put a laughing emoji face. It rocks. You know, it also rocks when you're doing laundry. And so the first time my neighbor was doing laundry in our RV, we weren't home and she was doing laundry. I let her use it sometimes whenever she needs it. And she said she was living in the living room and the RV started rocking and she said she thought it was an earthquake. And that's what it feels like. The whole RV is like this and you're like, oh, it's gonna flip. No, you're okay.
I mean, nobody's really thinking it's gonna flip, but
okay.
Besides you.
Me.
Alright, how is the remodel of the little RV coming along? I had the exact toy as a kid.
So my friend that I'm doing the RV with, she just got a job. And so me and her are trying to get our schedules together. But so far it's going good. We're going to be putting down the flooring next. We just haven't done it yet. And after we are done with it, I'm going to take all the videos that I did and collage it together so you can actually watch a YouTube video of the transformation of our mini RV. For those that don't know, there's a mini RV that I got and we were remodeling it as if we were going to live in it, if it was a life size.
Looking to upgrade to our first van with an N suite. How much hassle are they to clean? Just super easy.
To me, I feel like an RV is just super easy to clean because it's like such little space. It's just so quick.
Yeah.
It's quickly easy to get dirty, but quickly easy to get
They clean up really fast.
Yeah.
Okay. We're moving into an RV in 2-3 weeks. What are must-have tips or tricks? Well, must-have is RV toilet paper.
Yeah.
Go to Walmart, buy them out.
Yeah, get your RV toilet paper.
RV toilet paper, I would say...
Make sure you put enough water in your tank each time you're flushing.
Yeah.
Because that toilet paper can clog and build up if you don't have enough water because it's not going to be able to break down. Some people take their toilet paper and they throw it in trash cans. Some people have like the baby for diapers, the little baby things. But instead of putting, they put their used toilet paper in there instead. Yeah. So one, they can use regular toilet paper, and two, so it doesn't clog up their RV septic.
Lord.
What?
So aggressive.
That's my leg.
I know. That was aggressive.
Wait, what are some other tips and tricks?
I feel like we talk about this all the time. I can't think of anything right now.
I can't think of a single thing.
Your bed.
Purge.
Oh my god. Your bed. I would say do everything you can to make your bed the most comfortable that you can make it, because that's where a lot of people compromises the bed. I feel like, and like we have a stock mattress, but we put a piece of like a mattress topper. I got a really thick mattress topper, and so we have kind of a firm, soft bed.
Oh, and we also put a one of those pee-pee covers on there because Devin would just kidding.
What?
No, because for one,
we didn't put a pee-pee cover on there. It's the plastic that came on the mattress.
Yeah, but we didn't take it off. In our last RV, we had it on there. Yeah. We bought it to put on there. One, if the dogs ever have an accident. Two, if you're a sweater in your sleep.
Yeah.
Three, if you ever spill anything. It just helps keep everything that from the top not reaching the bottom, because RVs are known to build mold underneath the bed. So that helps with that. And then also getting a dehumidifier, a couple of them, having them running always in the corners. Test it out, move different corners of the RV, and you'll see what fills up the most, grabs enough water.
Oh, a little handheld vacuum. I think that's a must-have in like a small RV.
One that works well, because usually the small ones suck.
Yeah, like a good, like we had a Black & Decker one that was amazing.
No, it kept dying.
Well, yeah. There's a couple out there, but okay. Was that all you had? That's all I could think of.
I know. I don't know why I can't think of like.
Well, we also have a couple of whole videos that go.
When you are done using the awning, put it away. There's so
don't
many
leave
times
the awning out.
I fell asleep and then all of a sudden it's raining, and then it was so heavy that it almost broke the awning, or the wind out of nowhere. So once you're done with the awning, put that sucker away. Don't keep it out. Don't.
I wasn't here for that. I personally
Each time it happened.
I personally have never had any issue with the awning.
It was scary.
But don't leave it out. Do you decorate for holidays?
Yeah, man. I don't know if we're gonna do it for Halloween.
I really want to, but
we totally can.
Okay.
Okay, we will.
We'll decorate.
We'll do it.
Yeah, we go all out for Christmas most of the time.
For Christmas, faux show.
I'm a huge fan of Christmas.
Huge.
And we watch every Christmas movie under the sun.
All
culminating to Christmas Eve when we watch Christmas Vacation and Krampus.
I can't.
She hates it. I love it. Actually, I don't even care that much about it. I think the reason I like to watch it is because she hates it so much.
It's so dumb. Krampus is like the worst.
It's such a good movie.
I fall asleep.
It's so good. You fall asleep on everything. What are your favorite things to shop for? Shoes, jewelry, cardigans? That's really specific.
Right now, jewelry.
Yeah, we've both been kind of on a jewelry kick. I got some cool rings. You got some cool rings.
Mm. Speaking of jewelry, my sister just told me, she said, Kirsten, what'd you say? I said jewelry. And she said, girl,
jewelry.
Do you take the L out of jewelry? And I was like, I sure do.
I'm wearing jewelry.
I said, I wear jewelry.
I also love shopping for like gear. Personally, like I love. It's like a high when you buy a new guitar. It's like it's like this new thing.
Right now, my high is fixing up the cars. So I got a Honda. I got a Honda for my sister, and I feel like it was in pretty good condition, and there's only a few things that like needed, like the lights were all scratched up in the front, and like I tried to use the thing on it, the liquid on it, to make it where you can see, and it didn't work. And so I was like, all right, and so I got new lights for that, and then instead of putting rims on it, I got new caps for it that were black, and I spray painted, or I used the rust takeaway that turns black as well. Spray painted under or whatever, and then gave it a good clean, and it looks like a whole different car. And I'm like, yeah! I was like, it's so cute now. It's a cute car. And then our truck, we just got the rooftop tent. We got the back all done with Lion X. We got our Kurt back bike rack for our cycle bikes, and then we got the truck rack on it.
We got wheels and tires coming.
And we got wheels and tires coming Monday. I'm so excited. And so that's my thing right now. Jewelry and truck. To answer that long form.
How did you find a place to park your RV?
Craigslist and Google. Google campgrounds in Nashville, Tennessee. In Kansas City, like whatever city you're looking for, and then look at cities around it so you can be in the general area. And so Google those campgrounds and stuff like that, and then ask, hey, how much does it cost? How much is the monthly fee? Is there propane on site? What's on site? Is there a store on site?
If you've got a friend, like a good friend with a big piece of property, or like something like that, offer to pay to have the hookups put in. And then say, hey, for a little less rent, I'll pay to have this put in, and then you have it when I'm done. It's yours. You can do whatever you want with it.
Yeah, you would win right there in the long run. And then you're staying privately on somebody's property.
Yeah.
All
right, that's it.
That is it. That was all
the questions.
All of our questions, because I put a post up on my Instagram stories the other day, and I asked for people to ask me questions. So some people asked repetitive questions, but that was basically the gist. So, all right. Well, thanks for watching. This is going to be the third Q&A, so make sure you watch the other two to get to know more about us. And don't forget to follow my other pages. I don't know if I'll link it right here like YouTubers do, where they look all cool. It's all Fifth Wheel Living. 5th_wheel_living. On Pinterest, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and this is YouTube. All right. Thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, comment your questions. Okay.